Hi there, so I thought I'd put together a really quick tutorial video on how to make tank treads that are on Wally's tires. Um, it is, I guess, fairly simple depending upon how you look at it. Um, so I'm going to make an inside here. I'm going to make it only have 3 sides, and then I'm going to turn on rounding, maybe turn that down, and now I'm going to rotate it by about 90 degrees. There we go. And now I'm going to make a cube and I'm going to scale that down just like this. Let's go ahead and come up with some numbers here. Um, let's say for 45. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna just take this T and scale it down, since either way we're probably not gonna work with it that huge anyway. Uh, let's say about there. Okay, so I'm gonna just take this and bring it in a little more. Okay, so I have the piece that's going to be repeated around this shape here. I'm now going to make a cloner. I'm going to shove the cube in the cloner. In the cloner, I need to tell it to be in object mode. And then I'm going to put this end side inside of the cloner. We can see that it is giving us a bit of a weird result, but we're going to go ahead and fix that. So first things first, I need to kind of rotate what I've got going on here. So let's see, I believe, yeah, this looks about right until about 90 degrees. And then this should probably also go about 90 degrees that way. Okay, that's a little better. I'm now going to go back to the object tab and tell it to be even. So now it's evenly distributing along the spline. And I'm going to turn up the count. So we're getting kind of closer to the result we're hoping for. We have the shape. And now for the turning, we just turn up the offset here. So we go in these small increments, then it kind of does what you're hoping for. But now, what if I wanted, this is where things get a little advanced. So you can either just run with this and animate the offset and you're set to go. If you want to make this just a little bit more advanced, in this case it would be the body of your Wally that would be driving the direction of this, but I'm going to just make a null and call it tread in my case. And I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to programming tags, Xpresso. And so here in Xpresso, it's kind of like node-based coding. And it sounds intimidating, but it's not too bad. If I take the tread here and bring it into here, now I have the tread, and I bring the cloner, and I bring this in here. I can tell one thing to run into another. These are a little bit like a plug. We have an input and an output, right? So here in the tread, I'm going to take this X value and drag it to my output. And in the cloner, I'm going to go to the offset and drag it to the input on the cloner. And then the only thing is that here, this is a float real number. And on the cloner, this is a percentage. So in order for one to read to the other, it's good to have something called a range mapper. And so I'm going to input this and output this to here. And in the range mapper, I'm going to tell it to output a percent. And that's all that is to that. Now, for here, I can tell it how much this number is going to output to here. So if I move 1 centimeter over here, it's going to move 100%. So just getting to 1 centimeter there, I've already moved 100% on this offset. So maybe I want a much smaller number. Let's say after moving 5 centimeters, I'll have barely put in 1%. So now if I move the tread, it moves much slower. And it looks a little bit better for the eye to see. Now the only thing is that when I move forward this way, the tread is moving backwards compared to the direction I would expect it to move if it were really a tire pushing. So because it's moving backwards, I can go ahead and clear this out. I'm going to open up these different options we have here. So calculate would be for like math. And I'm going to use negate. It's just like it sounds. It takes something and it makes it negative instead, or the opposite of what it is. And so by doing that, now I move my tread and it's moving in the right direction. Now the only thing is, this is only moving forward and back for the X. If I move on the Z, it's not really giving me anything. And if I were going uphill, it wouldn't do anything. I would only be able to do it by moving forward and back. How do I make it so that I could have all three of these values kind of add some kind of movement to this? So what I can do for that is I have a math add here. And I can see so far I only have 2 inputs, but I'm going to have an X, Y, and Z. So to add another input, I just left click on this and then click on input, and now I have 3 inputs. And for the tread, I'm going to take the Y and put that, take the Z, put that there. And so now I have all 3 there, and I'm going to just feed these here into this add. So 1, sorry, I gotta grab it just right, 2, and 3, and then I'm going to put those into here. Let's see what that looks like. So if I move the tread forward and back, side to side, up and down, or just at random, it's going to move by adding all the numbers together. And so that seems to be pretty much all there is to it. In your case, if you're going to use Wally, you're going to input whatever it is that you're going to be moving on the X, Y, and Z axis as the thing that's going to send the outputs to that offset. In my case, it's this tread. And if you have any questions, you can always message me on Slack. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.